Guys, this is a video I was supposed to actually shoot a week ago. I didn't. Was very busy with other things, work among others. Not that it's very busy at work, but I was preoccupied with that. Also, I had a lot of other things to do, like responses and the paperback update. I wanted to do those. So. The record fair, fine. You just watched some footage, and it was not crowded. It is still the biggest record fair in the world. To be quite honest, I have not been to record fairs outside of Holland, but if people who are standing there and selling their records are actually saying this is the biggest in the world, I kind of believe them. It's huge. Didn't shoot a lot of footage. Hopefully it gave you kind of an idea what it was like. Maybe next November, when the second record fair is being held, I'll shoot some more images, quite possibly. I didn't go to Record Store Day, so let's get that out of the way. I don't care for Record Store Day. We don't have a record store here where I live. I have to go to Amsterdam or Utrecht, and besides me having to work, I just didn't see anything interesting in the lineup of records. So Record Store Day, yeah, well, maybe this was my Record Store Day haul. 10 albums plus 2 that I got after the record fair. The first one I got for free from a friend of mine. He didn't like it. I haven't listened to this one yet. But it's the second album by Tim Finn. It's called Big Canoe. Tim Finn of Split Ends and later of Crowded House. I like Tim Finn, so I got it. A friend of mine thought it was synth pop. It's not. But yeah, it'll find a good place in my collection. Then also something I picked up after the record fair is because I saw Erik The Viking show this record. I think he has an original UK version from 1968. Could be wrong, but it was part of his UK Psych video, and I recognized the album, so I picked it up. Music in a Doll's House by Family. This is a 1974 re-release on a subsidiary of Warner Brothers called MIDI. It's a German release. It was $3. And I just had to have it, even though the cover, the green border, just sucks. But this is really, really interesting. So yeah, I had to pick this up. This is not psychedelic music like The Move or Tomorrow or even early Pink Floyd. This is more of a heavy blues rock inspired psychedelic stuff. Yeah, I like it. It's good stuff. Now on to the Record Fair finds. Like I said, there's 10. And probably most of these will not ring a bell with the majority of you, of you guys out there. So I hope to actually, get you interested in some of these. There's 2 reissues and 1, sadly, I found out bootleg. But we're going to talk about that when I'm showing them. First one is a Dutch band called Flu. This is, I think, their first album called 1.5. They're a Dutch post-punk group. This is on the Torso label. It's one of the earlier Torso labels. Just amazing. The design of this Torso logo is done by a Dutch comic book artist / designer called Joost Zwarte. Amazing stuff. But the music is also really, really good. Very rare. This is something I just discovered like a month or 2 ago. Before that, I didn't know who the hell these guys were. But then again, you don't see their records that often. This is one version without an insert. The version with an insert was 30 euros more expensive than this one was. Yeah, it's got the typical Dutch post-punk sound of Meccano, Mechanic Commando, Nasmak, killer stuff. Then this has been shown prominently in videos by Cool Ranch Dressing and To The Boy Alice. They didn't talk about the record, they just had it in the background. And that's this album, Haus der Lüge by Einstürzende Neubauten. Yeah, it's the Ejaculating Horse. This is an original gatefold release from 1989, German release. Comes with the original insert or inner sleeve. And this is, from what I've heard, I haven't listened to all these properly. Like I said, I've been busy. But this is, wow, killer stuff. It's not as groundbreaking as their first album, Collapse, which is probably still my favorite. But it is dark, it's depressing, it's strange, it is slightly industrial, but don't think of this as industrial music. It's way beyond industrial. It's just a great, great album, a great, great band. And I actually told a friend of mine, Blixa Bargel, he was in Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and I like this a lot better than Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. This is just more demanding of you to listen to, and it takes a lot more energy from you, and it's a lot darker, a lot more just original. So there you go, Einstürzende Neubauten. Some more German stuff and slightly Dutch. This is a re-release from 2007 on Walla Records by Hölderlin. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's called Hölderlin's Traum. This is a classic German progressive psychedelic folk album. It's kind of weird because it's supposed to be like that. The vocalist is Dutch. She's from a town called Wassenaar, except it's spelled wrong here. This is a killer album, and who can I recommend this to? Well, everyone who loves krautrock and loves folk, and a combination of that. This is really, really good stuff. I also found the first album by Hybrid Kids. I had shown the Claws album as a post-punk Pearl video. This is their debut album, which was, you know, sort of released as a compilation album, but it's not. It's all done by a guy called Morgan Fisher, who used to be in Mott the Hoople. Forget Mott the Hoople. If you love Mott the Hoople and you can't stand experimental music, don't go near this. This is crazy shit. At times the guy sounds like he's a one-man residence. Crazy voices, crazy sounds. There's 12 covers on here. He does a cover under he does covers under various names like the Burtons, Punky and Porky, Ja Wurzel, Capital Punishment, British Standard Unit, the Ancestors, stuff like that. You know, they're all made up names, but the songs are all covers. So he does MacArthur Park, he does God Save the Queen, Wuthering Heights, Fever, Do You Think I'm Sexy, which is one of the craziest versions of that song, Get Back by the Beatles, and You Lost That Loving Feeling. And it's sort of a mixture of different things that made post-punk so interesting. You got elements of reggae and dub, you got crazy electronic stuff, and just the little punky sounds of certain things. You know, this is really good stuff. It's on Cherry Red. It's got the original inner sleeve, which is advertising other records, which one I really want, the Glaxo Babies, but that's fucking expensive. There it is. Awesome stuff. Cherry Red, early Cherry Red. You can't go wrong with that. If you see it, Cherry Red from the late 70s, early 80s, pick it up, because it's always good. Some more post-punk. Silhouette by Nussmuck. This is their last album from 1983. It's not their best, but it's a great album nonetheless. It's got custom labels with the dog on it. It's on a label called Plurex, which is, besides Torso, one of my other favorite Dutch labels. There's a lot of dogs on here. There's a dog on the back. Just great Dutch post-punk. So this got performed at the Ultra 2012 festival a couple of weeks ago. Toon Bressers, sorry. He's a great drummer. Great stuff. A little progressive rock for you fans out there. This is Cherry 5. A re-release, I guess from 2011, I might be wrong, on the AMS record label. I don't know if you can see it there. This is actually Goblin before they became Goblin. It doesn't quite sound like the Goblin I know and I love, but this is great Italian progressive rock. This is the only album they released under this name. Only the drummer who's in this band didn't go on to join Goblin. They got another drummer for that. Otherwise it's Goblin. Cool stuff. It's got custom labels that are taken from parts of the album cover. So if you love Italian progressive rock, this is still easily available. Didn't pay much for this. And we got some more Dutch post-punk. This is a compilation. Derek has shown it. I don't know if Derek's version's got the slide-off watch. Yeah, it's a little faded, as you can see. This is a compilation album called Hours, which I just mentioned there. It's on the Plurex label once again. There's 8 tracks on here. The most known ones are by bands like the Mini Pops, Section 25, Eric Random and the Bedlamites, Nussmuck, Exmal Deutschland, and I think Dislocation Dance. They ring a bell. place. This is from 1982. Great stuff. Probably the high point of this video for a lot of you. An original 1983 release, German release, but still original, of Swans Filth. Their debut album. It's loud, it's depressive, it's dark, it's awkward, it's fucking amazing. This was the most expensive record in the batch. I'm not gonna say how much it was, but let's just say I could have bought 2 new albums from it, like record store day price albums. But this is just awesome to have. The only Swans record I saw at the record fair. I had to have it. It's Swans. Anything by Swans is on my wish list. So really psyched to finally have their debut. So that's killer. 2 more, of which the last one is the bootleg, sadly, but it's still a great bootleg. But first, some more post-punk. Gee, how original. Kosmonautentraum, that's the band, and the album is called Yuri Gagarin. That is Yuri Gagarin. German post-punk, 1982, on the German Zigzag label. I don't know if you can actually see it. It's a pink label with silver letters. Zigzag were the label that first released Einstürzen und Neubauten. This doesn't sound like Einstürzen und Neubauten. This sounds like just great, slightly electronic post-punk. Really good stuff, and it's sought after. This is another record that isn't cheap. Mine has got a little damage here, as you can see, but the vinyl itself is in great condition. Another record that was on my wish list that I finally have. And the last one, this has been shown by Cool Ranch Dressing several times. They have an original, I have a bootleg. I thought it was a re-release. Found out later that it is not. Horse Rotovator by Coil. It's a really well done bootleg. There were lots and lots of these, so they must be like really new. But Coil is amazing. This is from 1986, if I'm not mistaken. But they really did a great job. They fooled me. For 30 euros more, I could have bought an original, and I might have done that. But then again, I only found out that this was not an original later on the record fair and at home when I really looked it up on Discogs. But this is killer stuff. If you love depressive experimental music, just go ahead, check it out, because it's really good. That's my little update. Hope you guys liked it. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think of these records if you know them, and I'll be seeing you soon, maybe. Have a good one. Peace.